people pleasing is manipulative and dishonest. I said yes to things I didn't want to do. I acted like things were fine when they weren't. I volunteered for things I didn't actually want to do. I overgave, I built up resentment, and sometimes I even complained about people behind their backs. And my motives weren't as pure as I thought they were. I thought I was nice. I mean, sure, I liked helping, but deep down, I was trying to get approval. I wanted you to think that I was dependable, reliable, capable, kind, easy to work with, and a good person. Hi, I'm Barb Nangle. I want to welcome you to my podcast, Fragmented to Whole, Life Lessons from 12-Step Recovery. If you're tired of feeling fragmented and overwhelmed, this podcast is your guide to creating a life of wholeness, authenticity, and healthy boundaries. I'm a woman in recovery who is also a boundaries coach and speaker. I share raw and honest insights from my own journey and the principles of 12-step recovery. Discover how to set boundaries without guilt or shame, overcome people-pleasing tendencies, manage your emotions effectively, cultivate a stronger sense of self, and build healthier relationships. My approach is raw, honest, and sometimes a little bit, a lot sweary. I'm an avid beachcomber and a formerly closeted fan of the Hallmark Channel, especially Christmas movies. I wear fingerless gloves almost all year round because my hands are always cold, and I love taking pictures of license plates with my initials BN on them. I don't speak for or endorse any particular 12-step program of recovery. Though I'm a huge fan of 12-step recovery and a member of 2 such fellowships, I cannot speak for them. If you're ready for real talk and practical tools for transformation, keep listening. This is episode 328, How Manipulation Shows Up During the Holidays and How to Get Away from It. I want to talk about manipulation today because it's something that I used to do without realizing it. As a former people-pleasing rescuer, victim, and savior, manipulation was one of my main operating systems, but I had absolutely no idea that's what it was. What just popped into my head is something my mom said to me years ago that stuck with me ever since. Someone at work said, our boss is Machiavellian, and if you don't know what that term means, it means he's manipulative. And when I mentioned that to my mom, she said, well, he must not be very good at it, because if people are good at manipulation, others don't even know they're being manipulated. Now, that statement hit me hard, and it really freaked me out when I eventually discovered that I was manipulative, because I was so good at it, I didn't even know that I was doing it. When I first learned about people-pleasing, I thought, that's not me. But the more I learned, the more I realized I was basically the poster child for people-pleasing. And then I learned that people-pleasing is manipulative and dishonest. Now, here's why. When I was people-pleasing, I said yes to things I didn't want to do. I acted like things were fine when they weren't. I volunteered for things I didn't actually want to do. I overgave, I built up resentment, and sometimes I even complained about people behind their backs. And my motives weren't as pure as I thought they were. I thought I was nice. I mean, sure, I liked helping, but deep down, I was trying to get approval. I wanted you to think that I was dependable, reliable, capable, kind, easy to work with, and a good person. So I was actually lying. I was pretending, and pretending is manipulation, because what I was really doing was trying to control what you thought of me. Now, when I first realized that, I felt horrible, like, oh my God, I must be this terrible person. But I've learned that this doesn't make you a bad person. It means you learned bad skills. You learned ways to get your needs met or to stay safe that were adaptive in childhood, but don't serve you in adulthood. Most of us learned to manipulate because it worked. It helped us survive in environments where being direct or having our own needs wasn't safe. So we learned to twist ourselves into what other people wanted. And all of this gets really activated around the holidays, doesn't it? Because family traditions and expectations can bring out old patterns fast. A lot of people use manipulation tactics like guilt, shame, and obligation to get others to do what they want during the holidays. Now, let me give you an example about manipulation from a client with details changed for privacy. She's in the process of a divorce and she also has a new relationship. Everyone knows about both situations. It's open, honest, and above board. Her new partner had plans to go out of town for the holidays, and my client was going to spend the holidays with her soon-to-be ex and young kids with some time alone peppered in there. When my client shared that it was going to be emotionally hard to have that time alone, and knowing that this was going to be the last holiday as a family, the new partner canceled her trip. She didn't check in with my client first. She just assumed that's what my client wanted. But my client was actually looking forward to having some time alone while her partner was away. When she told her new partner that person got defensive and said things like, well, I don't want to be a burden to you. And then also said, well, wouldn't it be hard for you if I spent the holidays with my ex? Now, there are several things wrong with those responses. First, the new partner wasn't actually spending time with their ex. They were completely divorced. And so this was not a comparison that fit. Second, my client isn't even legally separated yet and has very young children. So this is not the same situation. And third, and most importantly, people get to be upset about things. That's part of being human. But then if you take that, then you take responsibility for yourself and your own upsetness. It's not my client's job to make sure her partner never has uncomfortable emotions. That's what manipulation looks like, trying to make someone else responsible for your feelings so you don't have to feel them. And my client's new partner was trying to take responsibility for my client's difficult feelings, and they weren't asked to do that. My client simply wanted to be heard about how challenging it would be during the holidays. Now, there's a whole nother kind of manipulation that happens all the time in relationships. And that's when someone treats you poorly and then makes the conversation about your reaction instead of their behavior. They shift the focus away from what they did onto how you responded. That is a deflection tactic. It's a way to manipulate the narrative and make you the problem. When that happens, I don't say something like, that's manipulation, because that's not going to lead to a productive conversation. I'll say something like, if you want to talk about my reaction, we can do that later. But right now, we're talking about what just happened. And if that still doesn't work, I'll say, I'm not willing to talk about my reaction unless you're also willing to talk about what caused it. Now, we all get to have feelings when something upsets us. The real question is, what do we do with those feelings? Do we use them to manipulate, or do we take responsibility for them? Let me give you a personal example of that kind of ownership. When I first started dating my sweetheart, he was still friends with one of his exes, and she came to the same yoga studio that we did, often to the same class. And one day they arrived together on his motorcycle. She had been walking and he offered her a ride, and they came in laughing, having a grand time, and I felt this pang of jealousy. Now, they hadn't done anything wrong, but I recognized that I was triggered. So I later said to him, listen, I need to tell you something, and this is about me and my issues. Nobody did anything wrong, and nothing needs to change. But I want to be honest with you, because if I don't, it'll sit between us. And I spent all my previous relationships putting things between me and my partners without ever telling them, but would still feel the weight of it on my own. And it put a big, huge, giant wedge between us, which eventually became a gigantic, thick, tall wall. Now, I told him I'd felt jealous, which shocked me because I'd never thought of myself as a jealous person. It took me a few months to realize that what I saw between them was a moment of intimacy that he and I hadn't yet developed. Once we did develop that level of intimacy, and I would say actually a greater level of intimacy, that jealousy went completely away. That's what it looks like to own your emotions instead of using them to manipulate someone else's behavior. So, as we head into the holidays, here's what I want you to remember. Manipulation is often rooted in fear of rejection, disapproval, abandonment, or loss. But when we start to take responsibility for our emotions instead of trying to control others' emotions, that's when we find true freedom and internal safety. You can't stop other people from trying to guilt, shame, or pressure you, but you can decide how you show up. You can stop pretending. You can stop managing other people's feelings. You can choose honesty even when it's uncomfortable, because real connection, the kind we all crave, only happens when we drop the manipulation and start being real. Thanks for spending this time with me. I'll be back next week with another episode, and going forward from there, I'll be returning to weekly episodes. I am so excited to get back into that rhythm and share more stories, tools, and lessons from recovery and real life. Take care of yourself this week, especially as the holiday season ramps up. And remember, you deserve to feel safe and free inside and out. Let's be honest, the holidays can be hard. You're pulled in 100 directions trying to do it all, and it's easy to lose yourself in the process. My Holiday Boundaries Express is 3 private coaching sessions to help you reclaim your peace, set guilt-free boundaries, and actually enjoy the season. The 3 themes are personal peace and self-care, family festivities with fun, and social serenity. It's just $700, and if you choose to continue with Unshakable You, that full amount is discounted from your enrollment fee. And here's something new. I'm lowering the price on Unshakable You for now. The world feels shaky and unpredictable, and I want to help create a more secure world by helping more women feel secure within themselves. Because when you're grounded and unshakable, everyone around you benefits too. Visit higherpowercc.com/holiday to start your journey toward peace inside and out. Thanks for listening. If something here resonated, come connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm at Barb Nangle. I'd love to hear what you got from this episode. And if you'd like support building healthier boundaries in your personal, professional, or romantic life, you can book a free 30-minute Say No Without Guilt consultation at barbchat.net.